aware. Dr. Salisbury, 1860s, is that what it was? Something like that,
Around there.
1850s.
Yeah. Yeah.
He basically wrote a book that was like a clinical. Today we would kind of call it like a clinical report. It was like, here's what's been going on in my practice for the past 10 years and how I've been healing people. And
Yeah.
these are the symptoms, these are the problems, and here's how I'm doing it. And the solution in most of the cases was eat stewed beef.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was it. It's like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah. And don't eat anything else. And like,
right,
yeah. And that's what the Salisbury steak is from. I always thought that that was like a place name, like Salisbury, England,
right,
you know?
yep,
But
yep.
yeah, no, it was named after him. And the reason it was special, what made it different from just ground beef or mince was that he ground it in a specific way that you could filter out like all the gristle. And that just made it so you would absorb like 100% of it. And because he was
Right.
dealing with people with like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, we had no medications for back then. So these people were in trouble and they were having horrible times. And he was saying, like, no, this is really important to do it this way. You need to get all the gristle out so that they can absorb absolutely everything in their small intestine. And they have like no waste. So these people were just like creating no waste, and they could actually let their bowels rest and heal, which is very, very important. And that's what we do now in medicine. When you have like surgery on your bowels, or you have an infection, diverticulitis, even appendicitis, we treat these conservatively sometimes. With medications, you put them on a low residue diet where it's just exactly the same thing, just low residue, meaning not much is coming out as waste. Yeah. So it's like basically no fiber whatsoever. So the idea that fiber is good for you is, it's completely contradicted by that. Anytime you're having a problem, we just go like, oh God, no, geez, no fiber, just stay away. And then as soon as it's done, like, oh, you better get that fiber in you, like, well, where were you, yesterday? When you were saying that like fiber is like super bad for you. I remember this as a kid in the 80s. They said explicitly, multiple times, like you should eat fiber for a couple reasons. One, because you can't digest it. You can't get any nutrition from it, but it's bulky. And so it will stretch out your stretch receptors and make your brain think that you're full. So you'll trick your body into thinking that you've eaten something. I'm like, your body's not that dumb. It's certainly not as dumb as you are. And so, or the second one was that, well, because everyone was getting constipated after they stopped eating enough fat. And they're like, well, what's going on? Like, no one ever had this problem before. I'm sure they did have the problem, but not in the numbers. And then all of a sudden everyone's getting constipated. And they're like, well, what you should do? Fiber is a good idea. And then and there was all this theories about, peristalsis and things like that, but that was never a thing, before like the 1980s. And so these were just sort of thrown out there. But the whole point was, you can't break it down. You can't digest it. You can't get energy or nutrition from it.
I owned a CrossFit gym. I was doing on average 3 workouts a week and feeling like I got run over by a truck all the time. And I was paleo Whole30, so I wasn't eating processed foods. At the time, I had already stopped drinking alcohol. So I was just doing meat and plants. Torn labrum, torn meniscus in my left knee. The labrums in both of my shoulders are torn. I have herniated discs in my neck. And at the time, I had a current groin pull. I was recovering from a hamstring pull, and I had previously, in the past year and a half, torn both my calves. So I was a mess. I was a mess. Everything hurt all the time. Within 3, 4, 6 months of doing this, 3 months is where I really started seeing my performance come back after initially dipping down. My metabolic conditioning went up. I started feeling better in my workouts, feeling like after workout, hey, maybe I could do more. Then my strength PRs, my strength numbers started climbing. I was doing more, lifting more. And then the really cool thing is all of those aches and pains that I had started going away. The things that I had been limited on being able to do because of my knee, my shoulders, my neck, all went away. I started doing things in the gym that I never thought I would be able to do. Then after that, then it was the increase in volume. So I went from 3 days a week to 5 or 6 days a week, and I didn't feel like I got run over by a truck. So the recovery was better. My ability to perform was better. Like literally every single thing that I could think of that I was complaining about in my life about my physical performance completely went away. And this is the crazy part about it. This is where the nutrition piece really kicks in, because the other reason that I wanted to do carnivore was because I was sick and tired of having to get fat to get strong and having to get skinny to get or having to get weak to get lean.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Anytime I wanted to cut, I'm like, I want to get ripped. Okay, well, just got to let my head know all my numbers are going down. It won't be as strong. It won't be as fast. Everything's going down. And then, okay, I want to work on getting strong again. I got to bulk up. Okay, well, guess what? Just get it in your head. You're going to look like a slob. And it's I got so sick of that whole process. So doing this, that everything turned around. I got ripped. I got strong. Everything, it was a whole different world from there on. Most people just freak out when they hear you don't have to eat veggies, but getting people just to understand that it's okay to eat more animal meat. It's okay. You don't have to avoid fat, that type of stuff was really my message then. And again, everybody that I worked with at the gym that tried it, I ran some challenges specifically, 8-week, 10-week, 12-week challenges with some people just to get the experience of working with people through this process. And without fail, every single one of them, at the end of it, they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. We never thought we would see this kind of response. And they didn't have to, we didn't do calorie restriction. We didn't do anything other than just change what you're eating to include more meat and work out. Mm-hmm. That was it. And then they saw tremendous results.